The shift in intimacy. One of the first signs that things were changing was when intimacy became less and less frequent. It wasn't just that we weren't being physically close, but emotionally, I started to feel a barrier. We'd been married for years, and intimacy used to be a way for us to reconnect, to remind each other of how much we cared. But recently, she's become increasingly uninterested. At first, I thought maybe it was just a phase. Maybe she was stressed or tired. But as weeks went by, it became more obvious. Every time I tried to initiate intimacy, she'd pull away or offer an excuse. I'm too tired, or maybe later, became the norm. And when later came, there was no change. The distant conversations about intimacy. Eventually, I tried to talk to her about it. I asked, "Is everything okay? Are you feeling all right?" Because it's not like it used to be. Her response? Silence. She would shift the conversation, change the subject, or say something like, it's not you, it's just that I've been really busy. But I knew it was more than that. I had tried to be patient, to let her work through whatever was going on, but it didn't feel like she was opening up. And that's when I started to realize that something was very wrong. When we talked about intimacy, her responses weren't just disinterested, they were detached. She didn't even seem to care. It was as though she was emotionally checked out of the relationship, and I couldn't understand why. The accusations come. The weirdest part, as she grew more distant, she started accusing me of the same thing, of not being interested in intimacy. She'd ask, Why don't you ever want to be close anymore?" And, "Are you seeing someone else?" At first, I was shocked. How could she accuse me of that when it was clear that she was the one pushing me away? I tried explaining, telling her that I still loved her and was just confused about why things had changed. But no matter how many times I reassured her, the accusations only became more frequent. It felt like she was projecting her own distance onto me. I couldn't help but feel like I was being blamed for something I wasn't doing. Her secretive behavior escalates. As things started to get worse, I noticed other signs of her pulling away emotionally. She was spending more time on her phone, hiding it from me, and avoiding my questions about who she was talking to. I didn't want to invade her privacy, but her secrecy made me question everything. Why was she so guarded all of a sudden? When I tried to ask, she'd tell me it's nothing, but it never felt like nothing. She'd tell me I was being paranoid, that I needed to stop worrying, but the tension in the air was undeniable. It wasn't just about the physical intimacy anymore, it was about the emotional connection, the trust, and the transparency that had always been the foundation of our relationship. And with each new accusation, I began to feel more and more lost. The gaslighting effect. What made everything worse was how she started to make me feel like I was the one in the wrong. Whenever I'd express my concerns or try to discuss how I felt neglected, she would dismiss me, saying things like, "You're overreacting," or "You're just being insecure." Instead of comforting me or even acknowledging my feelings, she made it seem like I was the one causing the problems. It was as if I couldn't win. When I tried to fix the situation by asking for more intimacy, she would accuse me of being too needy. When I asked her what was going on, she'd flip it back on me and say that I was just paranoid. This constant back and forth, the gaslighting, made it hard to distinguish what was real and what wasn't. It felt like I was walking on eggshells, afraid to say anything that might set her off. The confusion deepens. I kept wondering if it was all in my head. Was I imagining things? Was I the one pushing her away by not being patient enough? But no matter how hard I tried to understand, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted between us, and that it wasn't just something I had caused. It became clear that we weren't the same couple anymore. I felt emotionally drained from trying to bridge the gap between us, only to be met with distance and suspicion. I started to feel like I was fighting a losing battle, one that I wasn't even sure I was supposed to win. The hard truth at this point, I don't know what the future holds for us. What I do know is that trust is shattered. I'm not sure if she's cheating, if she's emotionally checked out, or if something else is going on, but whatever it is, it's tearing us apart. I've been accused, gaslighted, and made to feel guilty for things I didn't do, and it's left me feeling empty. I just want answers, but it feels like she's pushing me further and further away.